What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Mariah and Steph. Steph, happy Two Goat Thursday. How you doing?
Not only is it Two Goat Thursday, Mariah, it is Game Day Thursday. So
It
extra
is.
pumped for this one. And 49ers need this one badly. So I'm pumped, ready to go.
Hopefully, Two Goat Thursday brings our guys some luck today and they can actually get the freaking dub because man, we need it. Chat, what's up? Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you all have had a great week so far. Yeah, so as you see, we're a little bit earlier today. Just give you all a little bit time to watch the show and then have time to get ready for the game as well. Steph, we're not going to get into this past Sunday too much because it's already a new game day, so fuck the loss.
Makes sense.
But I do want to just get your feelings, like now that we've kind of had a few days to get over another loss that the 49ers should have won. How are you feeling overall, like with the state of the 49ers right now? I know, going, if you would have probably asked us prior to the season starting, neither of us would have expected the 49ers to be sitting at 2-3 right now. Because, like these were the winnable games part of the schedule. Like we should have been winning right now. So just kind of tell me, how you feeling? Where's your head at with the 49ers right now?
Yeah, it's kind of like all over the place. I don't really know how to feel about this team. Like that's kind of where I'm at. And I think this game, like it all kind of hinges on this game, right? How the rest of the season could go. Like we know they can turn things around in this one. I mean, really in order to get to the playoffs, your best path there is to win your division, right? So like they could still do that because they're in a really bad division, right? So the
Which
Seahawks
is
have
weird.
lost their last two. It's weird, but parity exists in the NFL, and over time, things like this do happen. But yeah, so I just don't know how to feel because yeah, I'm with you. I think and Camden in the comments, go Hawks. Come on, no. Um go go Niners. I was on her podcast earlier this week. It was a fun one.
Hey,
But
Camden.
yeah, I guess I don't know how to feel about the team. I think yeah, we thought this was going to be the easy part and we know it's only going to get harder from here. Like they have maybe like one of the toughest, if not the toughest, remaining strength of schedules left. So that doesn't make me feel good when you're losing to bad teams, right? But I think like the reason they're losing to bad teams is not because they're not talented. Right now, I could sit here and say they're playing like a bad team, but I know they're not. Like and that's a frustrating part. But that's the reason I believe they could turn it around because they still have the same players, they still have the coaching, but they just need to snap out of it. And if they needed a back against the wall moment to give themselves something to, I don't know, it's almost like they need to feel something, so they put themselves in these situations that like, okay, like now we got to prove
Yeah.
everyone and ourselves that we could do it. Like if that's what you need, cool, but like to, I don't know, just piss away the the first quarter of the season because of it, I think is not smart. I think you're seeing too in the meantime that teams are like catching up a little bit to the 49ers or what they want to do on both sides of the ball. That worries me. So very long-winded answer. All that to say that I don't know how to feel about the team, and like I said, I think it all hinges on this game.
Yeah, I pretty much, I'm right there with and agree with everything you said. I found it interesting. I was listening to the press conferences from yesterday, and Fred was kind of asked if being him, if he had to give the team some type of speech or like what to get them like prepared and like like you need to get your asses together, right? Like, what the hell? And he pretty much said, which, like I thought was a great answer. He said, if I have to give a speech to get ready for this, And then he mentioned, we're 2-3 we're going against a division rival in a short week. And if you win this game, you could be first in the division. He says, if I had to give a speech to get you ready for this, we probably don't have the right guys.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I do like that he said that too, because it's the truth. Like,
Yeah.
This is put up or shut up time. Like, so if you can't get up for that, it's like, then you're just not it. So hopefully the 49ers do have the right guys. Like, I think, like I said, much of the team is the same guys. I know there's a lot of new faces on the defense. I know there's been a lot of injuries that have contributed to us seeing a lot of these new faces, including the rookies. But, I still think by osmosis, there's an example of what one should be on this team and what the expectation is. And it just hasn't been met so far, right? Aside from those few, I could probably count on my hand the players who I think, despite everything else, have looked good and have been exemplary this entire time, right?
I agree.
So yeah, I'm with Fred, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm not gonna baby you guys into caring. Like, at the same time, like, everyone's grown men in that locker room, and you gotta decide what you want. So we'll see what happens.
I pulled up this comment. Today's Gino's birthday, or is it this week? Or because that'll be great if
it is today.
Oh, okay.
It is today, yeah.
So hopefully, we don't give him a birthday win.
But it's his birthday too.
Who's?
Kittle's, right? Or was that yesterday?
His was yesterday or the day before, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, birthday week.
Let me get your thoughts on Kyle Shanahan, because, of course, the 49ers start losing and, it's fire the DC. He sucks, which we get that every time we get a new DC. Everybody wants to fire him in the first few weeks, and then they love him by the end of the season. So here we are. But then, of course, excuse me, comes fire Kyle Shanahan or questions about Kyle. And, so I kind of want to get your thoughts on where are you at with Kyle? Like, do you feel like, he's getting better as a head coach? Do you feel like his play calling is, progressing, or is like, I feel like there's like a lack of creativity at times, especially in the red zone. Like, if you pull up and you're watching like Kansas City, for example, or, like, their play calling is always different. Not to say it always works, right? Because it's still football. But like, they're pulling out shit like people have never seen before. And Kyle used to be that. And I just feel like now that it's become, obviously we know it's such a copycat league, right? And probably more than half the freaking league is running Kyle's system now. It's like, what are you going to do different to make it better than what everybody else is doing that's copying you? And I'm just not seeing that anymore. Like, you're supposed to be one of the best, always the best play caller in football. Well, why? Why does he still have that title? And so I just want to like get your thoughts. Where are you at with Kyle? And then at what point does it become time to move on? If the 49ers say we just get to the playoffs and lose in the first, second round, whatever, right? We don't make it to the Super Bowl. And then maybe next year we, don't win the Super Bowl either, or whatever. How long is it too long? Like, when does it become time that it's time to move on from your head coach if he's not producing you a Super Bowl win? Because at the end of the day, that's what you're playing for.
Yeah, I mean, so a couple parts to that question, right? Like, yeah. I think as far as, is he improving as a head coach or as a play caller, that's hard for me to say, because like I would have to know like what his playbook and like what he's calling on all these different plays. I get the frustration on that end though, that, and I think I'm right to be frustrated, because I'm also hearing players themselves. I think both Brandon Ayuk and Brock Purdy have said at different occasions that teams know what they want to do on offense.
Mhm.
That's troubling. Like
Yeah.
that's and despite that, they're still getting to the red zone at the second highest rate of any team. So that's crazy, right? But I think like there needs to be some zag. I've been saying like this week, like we need to see a zag from Kyle Shanahan because clearly like the defense has zigged. Like they've kind of caught up to what you want to do. Not every team's going to have the personnel to stop what you want to do. And I think that's been the advantage, especially when you had like Christian McCaffrey on the field. Like he's Chico, like no one could stop him even when you know that he's coming. But like now that you don't have that, I think it's a little bit more amplified, especially in the red zone. But like Kyle has always kind of had this inconsistency in the red zone. If you even go back to years with Jimmy Garoppolo, pre-Christian McCaffrey, like they've had issues with that in the past. So that to me shows a theme or a pattern, right? So yeah, I think something definitely needs to improve. I think some more creativity would be appreciated. You also don't want to get too cute where you're doing things that just simply aren't you, right? Like I think what Kansas City has done works for them because that's them. Like they're just kind of crazy like that and try all these different things. And you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, right? Like, so why not? But yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily the identity of this team. But I agree. I think there should be some little more creativity. I do think 49ers are trying to get George Kittle more involved in the red zone. I think that's a hell of a start, Like you said, it's not always going to work, but I think that's kind of what they're trying to lean more into with McCaffrey out, and I don't think that's a bad idea. So I think at some point we'll probably see it improve. But yeah, right now, of course, it's been super frustrating. Now, on the subject of like when is it too long to wait, to get to the Super Bowl with one coach, one regime, right? I think we know that Kyle Shanahan gives this team the best chance, because everyone always points out, as Invader says, like, if there's a better name or better person than Kyle Shanahan, like, who is it? Like, who would give the 49ers a better chance right now that's available or would be available at the end of the season that would give the 49ers a better chance? Like, it's hard to say. So that's a dangerous game to play as well, because if you're an owner and you feel like the grass is potentially greener, I mean, Jed has been down that road before, firing Harbaugh, and that got us like a decade of suck, literally. So yeah, it's a dangerous game to play. I think the frustration is warranted, but I think you got to write it out. In the meantime, yeah, it'd be nice to see some evolvement from Kyle Shanahan. I tend to think that he's stubborn, with some things that maybe keep him from evolving more than maybe he could. But so maybe that's a start. But yeah, I don't know.
So if we're sitting here 25 years later and still have Kyle Shanahan as the head coach and haven't won the Super Bowl yet, and we're just keeping him because we're too scared to see if another head coach is better, like, you have to give chances. Right? You don't know if somebody's better until you get him in there and let him try to be better. Like, that's the risk of football, right? Like, I mean, Philly could have hung on to Andy Reid for another 6 years, and he could have not been there. He could have been there 20 years without winning a Super Bowl. Yet he goes to Kansas City and wins all these Super Bowls. So, like, Shanahan, he could leave here and go win a Super Bowl somewhere else. Well, he's going to have different coaches, different owners, different personnel. Shit changes. Like, so we can't just say, oh, there's nobody out there that's better, so fuck it, we're just going to stick here and never win a Super Bowl. Like, I think that's kind of like, that's why that answer is just so fucking annoying. Every time you bring up the head coach position, that's the first thing people want to say. Oh, well, who are you going to replace him with? Well, people get paid to find somebody else to replace him with. No, I don't. But that is somebody's job. Like,
yeah. So like, that's the thing, right? It is a risk versus reward type of decision. Is the potential reward greater than the potential risk, right? Like, I think right now it's not, but yeah, if you were to give me a limit, like, you know, Corey was asking, like, what would be your limit? I would understand if after this season that they let Kyle Shanahan go. That's not what I would do, but I would understand it. And that's where I'm at, you know. So if he stayed one more season after this and you're seeing signs of things not going well, like, you have to also consider like the entire season, right? Because like, we're talking about this right now and the team is 2-3, and while it right now it seems like very unlikely, and I do think it's unlikely, like they can turn this season around and be, I don't know, by the end of it, like, oh, I forget how many games they have in the season now. The math is hard, but you know, they could they could have lost like 5 games or 6 games at the end of the season, make it to the playoffs, make a deep playoff run, and then it kind of feels like, okay, let's run it back, right? Like, so, and that's the thing, like, when this team has been healthy, like aside from the 2020 season, like they've gone at least to the NFC Championship. At least. Not a lot of teams can say that. So I know that's not what we all want, and I agree, trust me. But I'm just saying, like, I think after a few weeks you definitely can't make that decision. Just like the Jets, we're looking at them and we're like, how are you going to make that decision on Saleh after like 5 weeks in this season? Like, I think you got to see the entire season out, see what happens. So yeah, I my limit would maybe be at the end of the next season, and I'd be hesitant about it, right? But you know, maybe that would be it if they don't win it all.
What are your thoughts on Saleh and him getting fired? Like, he only got, you know, 5 games with Aaron Rodgers. Like, do you think, like, I know they're playing it off that Aaron Rodgers had no part of it, but then rumors are coming out that Saleh wanted to demote the OC, which is Aaron Rodgers' guy, you know. What are your thoughts with that handling of, you know, off topic real quick, of the whole Robert Saleh situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously he wasn't that great of a head coach, but I think they should have at least let him finish out this season or gotten a little bit further into the season before making that decision. Cause like, I think the best shot he had was this season, right? With Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So without that, it's kind of just like an incomplete attempt, right? So that's why I think some of us feel like it wasn't fair how he was, you know, treated out there. But yeah, I also don't know the ins and outs of everything and who had a hand in what decisions, you know, like whose idea was it to have Zach Wilson and keep him for as long as they did, you know, like, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. I think they should have waited at least till the end. It's not surprising that he got fired. Like, they were underperforming, but I would just waited a little longer.
Yeah, I thought for sure, like, you know, if you were gonna fire him before the season started, you know, if you weren't gonna give him a chance with Aaron Rodgers anyways, like, but yeah, like, I thought for sure he would have been either fired already, or you would at least let him, okay, he has Aaron Rodgers. Obviously Aaron Rodgers got hurt last season, so he didn't get him, you know, he just had to makeshift season together. And then it's like, okay, 5 games. Nope, that's enough. Bye. It's like, okay. Like, I was not expecting to wake up that day and see that on the news, you know, like see that across the timeline that Robert got fired. It was just like Very, very strange timing, especially. All right, so looking into Seattle, it's the Seahawks have, a few injuries they're dealing with. Right now, so Mike Garafolo just tweeted out probably like 25 minutes ago that he said, with Reek Woolen out, the Seahawks signed cornerback Artie Burns to the active roster. Not a standard elevation from the practice squad. I don't know that name. Ukena Nwosu, I don't know, to IR as expected. He's likely to miss more than 4 games, but the hope is he'll be back this season. So, they're dealing with quite a few injuries. They also have defensive tackle Byron Murphy out, and then obviously Woolen out. Boye Mafe and Derek Hall they're questionable, but are expected to play. And then safety Julian Love is a game time decision. And then on the 49ers side, linebacker Fred Warner, George Kittle, Jair Brown, and Jacob Cowling all off the injury report and will be playing. So looking at the injury side and just, looking at this game overall, kind of how you feeling? Because this is the first time we're going to face the Seahawks without Pete Carroll in how long? Like, it's crazy to think like we're not going to see his chewing gum ass over there. Finally, like, God, I'm so sick of looking at his ass, but it's still weird to like think. And I haven't really watched the Seahawks up until this point, so I haven't had to even like see them without Pete Carroll. So this will be my first time actually watching them and not seeing Pete Carroll over there. So kind of like a new identity, right? We've seen Geno Smith. He's throwing a lot more this season. He's leading the league in passing yards, I believe. Their running backs, very strange because they have a great running back, and yet it don't seem like he's getting as much carries as you would think he should be. But Nick Bosa was asked about that, and he said he expects that to change today. He said he expects the Seahawks to come out and attempt to run the ball more than they have been the last couple of weeks. And then obviously we know what the 49ers run defense and all that, right? So how you feeling about this game, looking at it overall, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a new era for Seattle. And, I got to be honest with you, like, I like what they're doing. Like, I like the head coach they picked up. I like Mike Macdonald. They got off to a hot start, 3-0, and they lost the last 2. So that's just like bumps in the road you're going to have with any like new head coach, right? Even a good one. So I think injuries have taken a toll for them. So I think the 49ers, for one, have to take advantage of that, especially the offense, because most of the injuries for the Seahawks are on the defensive side of the ball, and they're pretty big ones. Like Tariq Woolen being out, that's huge, right? Julian, or who's the safety? The safety, Julian Love. Okay, yeah. So game time decision, like, that's potentially huge. Not having Nwosu, not having Byron Murphy, like that's huge. So yeah, they have to take advantage of that. On the defensive side for the 49ers, I talked about this on my preview show yesterday with KP, because it was Nick Bosa who said, yeah, like we're doing a lot of film study. The game prep is like perfect to what we expect teams to do, and come game day, like they're showing us something completely different. Like they're playing us differently than what they normally do. The Seahawks love to pass the ball. Like they've been passing the ball like the most of any team so far in the NFL as far as like pass play rate. So I do think they're going to run the ball more in this game. I mean, even their offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, said this week, like, we need to get Ken Walker the ball more. And so I think they're going to try to run the ball more, especially after what they saw last week, James Conner running over this team in the second quarter. So I think, yeah, they're going to try to be a little more balanced, see if it works. And if not, then I think they've shown they're more than comfortable throwing the football this season. But yeah, I do still expect a heavy pass attack, but I do think they'll look to run the ball more in this game. So the 49ers do have to be prepared for it. even Geno Smith is running more than he has in the past. So he's getting yards with his legs. That's another thing the 49ers have to look out for because, Kyler Murray ran with success against the Niners too. So I think just expect to see some of that as well.
I thought we were finally going to be over the days when we had to be sick thinking about facing running quarterbacks, but I can tell that our defense ain't up for the challenge this season. So here we are. Because the way they started the first freaking play last week, oh my God, I could have been sick. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm scared of this defense against the run. And when I was so happy and thrilled for the back end of this defense, like, I don't even have that much faith in them. Like, Charvarius Ward, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, he's going to be having to cover DK. I'm guessing he won't be shadowing him this game, but who knows? But regardless, I don't know how to even feel about that matchup. Like, I used to be confident. Okay, yeah, Charvarius Ward's going to shut him down, but with the way that he's been playing so far, I don't know. Like, and it's just like, what linebacker are we playing alongside Fred? Because Devondre Campbell's not it. So if he's going to be rolling out there starting, like, I just don't have faith. Like, it was so much better. Like, at least you knew with Fred and Greenlaw that whatever made it, nothing most likely wasn't going to make it past them, right? Like, now, oh my gosh, it's just like, I don't know if it's a communication, like we got too many young guys in the back. Obviously, Huff in and out, now out. Like, it's just like a mess back there. So I really hope they can get it together. Like, they talked to Mustafa, and he, seems like he's up for the challenge. Hopefully preparing as the starter this week. And, Fred said he's been in there communicating with him, trying to get the calls, right and everything. So I hope that they're able to shut him down. And yeah, the offense has to take care of business. Like, you can't keep getting, like, I swear the offense looks like a complete two different offenses when they're on the field. Like, when they're like in the first, from the 1 yard line to the, 30 on the other side, they look like a great freaking offense. And then all of a sudden, like, they start creeping towards the red zone, and I don't know what the fuck happens. Like, they turn into a completely different team out there. And it's just like I know CMC, like, obviously amounted for tons of our freaking touchdowns since he's been here, right? But like, come on, like, you're getting to the red zone and throwing 4 freaking times in a row. Like, it's just, I don't know. But yeah, they have to take advantage. Like you said, they're missing key parts of their defense. If you can't, like, know to pick apart and take advantage where those guys are supposed to be, like, and then Brock, like, come on, man. Like, stop trying to be Superman, like,
you gotta reel it in for sure.
Like, you can't be running 60 yards behind you. Like, that's not good football. It ain't gonna freaking help. Like, come on. Just like, get back to doing like what you guys do. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, if they're coming out with the plan to throw more, or they just think the running game ain't up to par, but it's like, sometimes, like, it doesn't even seem like they're giving the run game like a chance to like get going. It's like, oh, a couple runs. Nope, they stopped it. All right, we're going to pass from here on out. And it's just like that ain't you, like,
yeah.
Like, Brock, as much as you want to turn him into this gunslinger, like, come on. Just let Brock be Brock. All right. So score prediction, Steph. Let me pull it up here.
All right.
So
yeah, where am I at? Where am I at on the leaderboard?
Last week, you had plus 12 added to your score, and I had plus 15 added to mine. So we're currently sitting at Steph minus plus 77, and I'm at 65. So it's closing.
Closing the gap. Closing the gap. You've been a little like too
I've been going crazy.
Enthusiastic. Yeah.
I gotta reel it in like Brock Purdy.
Temper
You gotta reel it in. So what you got this week, Steph?
All right. I think it's gonna be a close one in this one. I do think like Seattle has shown they could put up points passing the ball. So and I do think they'll run a little bit more today. I don't think they'll go crazy with it, but still gonna use Ken Walker quite a bit. I do think the 49ers are gonna have better success on offense. I think Brock Purdy's gonna reel it in and be a little more disciplined when it comes to escaping the pocket. Hopefully we don't see him, leaving a clean pocket when he doesn't need to. And then throwing rhythm, throwing timing, and take advantage of the defensive injuries that the Seahawks are dealing with. I'm going to go 28-24 Niners. What? Was that your same? Oh, 27-24. Okay. Listen, I mean,
that's cheating, I swear.
It's not going to be Jake Moody out there. Hopefully this kicker does well. It's going to be loud as hell whenever he goes out there. So hopefully he's got some confidence in him.
Yeah, so I totally forgot to talk about, the whole Jake Moody not being there. Steve-O says the new kicker that we signed is 40 for 47 and 35 out of 37 on extra point attempts. But like you said, it's loud as hell. George, talked about it in his presser, how, him and the vets and Kyle, like they're trying to get the young guys ready for the noise because it plays such a huge part, especially when the Seahawks are playing the 49ers. So yeah, like this kicker, hopefully it don't come down to we needing this kicker to win the game for us.
That's the importance. That's the importance of the 49ers finishing their drives. Like, if you're in field goal range, I don't care. Go for the touchdown anyway.
Yeah.
No reason you shouldn't be scoring touchdowns.
I agree. All right. So Steph has it 28-24 49ers, and I have it 27-24 49ers. Hopefully.
Guess I won't be catching up to you this week.
Nope. Hopefully we can get the dub regardless of the score. I don't care if it's by 1 point or 40 points. Just win the damn game, because if you don't, shit's looking ugly. Shit's looking very ugly. Steph, you got anything else going on?
No, I'm not doing a post game tonight. Won't be live again until Tuesday. Sorry about that. Just going to be out of town this weekend.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, sorry about it. So, yeah, I'll be back Tuesday. But, yeah, make sure you guys check out my channel, Steph49K.
Brandon, get the fuck out of my chat, okay? And don't come back. Brandon says 27-23 Seahawks. Invader says 55-10 49ers. I hope you're right, sir.
Yeah, right.
Man, Seahawks fans, they would be crazy after that. Don says 29-16 Niners. I'm guessing Steve-O says 17-7. We're gonna say 49ers. But yeah, I'll be back. I won't be back talking 49ers till Tuesday either. So you guys gotta go somewhere else. Sorry about it. They'll come here. I hope everybody has a great game day. Let's get this dub. I don't care what you have to do. Like, we just need to see fucking effort out there first. Number one, like, you have to care. Like, you have to want to get the freaking win, like, more than the opposite team. So, like, get it. It's going to be difficult, but we got to get it done, faithful. All right. We'll be back Tuesday. Me and Steph will be back Thursday. Until then, everybody have a safe, wonderful rest of your week and weekend. We're out of here, faithful. Peace.